Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing really well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Heather and I am a professional viola player living and working in the UK primarily. That was kind of getting further abroad, but then, you know, COVID. I generally make videos all about freelance musician life, the ups and downs, the do's and the don'ts, my experiences, and I just try and be a bit of a positive force, I guess, in an industry where negativity can so easily seep in and become the norm. And to be honest, I think that needs to change. And also, apologies if I've stopped putting my hair up in a towel after I've washed it, which basically means that I'm getting loads of baby hair, like new growth. But what are these? Now, I appreciate that the title of this video is a tad dramatic, but I couldn't really think of a better way to phrase it because some of these things really can be career disasters and career ending. And whilst I am a huge fighter against cancel culture and writing somebody off just because of one mistake, if you consistently do some of these things, then I can't really help you. This kind of goes for life in general, but sticking to the freelance parameters. If somebody emails you offering you work, reply. Even if you can't do it, aren't sure if you can do it yet, maybe you have another bit of work on that day, or maybe you're not sure about timings, reply. Keep the fixer in the loop. If you just don't reply, they may think you haven't got the email, they may think that you just haven't been bothered to reply, which is kind of rude, or they may presume that, you know, they've got the wrong email address for you and they'll email somebody else. Being a fixer is a really stressful job. They have not got the time nor the energy to be chasing after you, asking for replies. So even if you can't do it, even if you don't want to do it, even if you're not sure if you can do it, or if you can do it, just reply. Reply as quickly as you are able, and you'll quickly find that that fixer starts to contact you more often. It's also really important to communicate clearly and politely if you get work that clashes. Most fixers are either freelancers themselves or they have been, and they will completely understand the difficulty of the fact that, say you've got a gig booked on a Saturday and it's just one day of work, it's a good gig, but it's just one day. And then an orchestra will get in contact with you and say, hey, we want you for the whole week. Obviously, financially, that's the better option for you. So you're probably gonna wanna try and get out of the gig that you had on the Saturday. However, it is incredibly bad form to just email a fixer telling them that you are no longer available. Sorry to be a bit harsh on that one, but it is. How would you like it if somebody did that to you? But, like I said, they will be understanding of the fact that you kind of want to take the work that's gonna pay you more. So just drop them an email, explain the situation, be honest, and ask if it's okay for you to be released from the gig. It may not be possible, especially if it's very last minute, and at that point, it's really tough, but be professional and honour your previous commitments. Also, make sure that you have the means to get to gigs before you accept them. For instance, if you don't drive, it is not down to the fixer to get you to the venue. However, if they ask you to do something, you can absolutely reply and say, yes, I'm free, that would be great. However, I don't drive and it's not possible to get there by train or whatever. Is there anybody else who is also doing the gig who lives near me that I can lift share? I'm certain the fixer will not mind sending you a couple of people's names that you can just get in contact with. That's absolutely fine. But again, communicate that, be honest, and do it in as much time as you can. You don't want to be scrambling the day before and giving your fixer a heart attack. Now, obviously, sometimes things happen that are completely out of your control and there's nothing that you could have done about it. I'm not talking about those instances. But if you have to get somewhere for work, make sure that you have at least a good hour or so spare, particularly if you're going somewhere that you've never been before. It may be harder to find parking than you thought, or the parking meter may not be working and you have to drive somewhere else. So worst case scenario, you get there on time. Best case scenario, you have time to kind of settle down, grab a coffee, chat to some of the other people that are there. It's only going to be a good thing. So always leave yourself plenty of time. And by plenty of time, I mean way more than you think you'll need. You may have been the best player your college has ever seen. You may have won all the awards. You may have led all the ensembles. You may have taken part in every single masterclass. You may have studied with the best teachers in the world. Wonderful, great. And I'm not taking away from that. Congratulations to you. That took a heck of a lot of hard work. However, if you can't blend your sound, if you can't get on well with other people, if you can't take direction, nobody's going to care about any of the rest of that stuff. You are surrounded by incredible musicians who are really, really good at their job. So be respectful of that. Just because you're making a fantastically successful career as a freelancer doesn't make you inherently better than everybody around you. So yeah, be nice, be respectful, and be good to work with, because ultimately, would you want to work with somebody who's a bit of an arse? Probably not. They will almost certainly hear about it, and even if they don't, it doesn't look good on you. When you're talking to some colleagues and you're bad-mouthing another player, how do they know that you're not going to talk about them like that as soon as you walk off and start talking to some other people? Being good to work with is absolutely essential in this industry, and obviously, don't be fake, that's not good either. And if you don't have a particularly good opinion of somebody for whatever reason, you can obviously be honest about that if asked directly. Just don't bring it up every chance you get. Whether you're a solo artist or you play with 7 different orchestras every single week, maintaining good relationships is absolutely essential, and not having good relationships can just chip away at your career alarmingly quickly. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, it's all about who you know, and that is just so true. Close relationships are often the thing that will actually get you where you want to go. So cultivating them is just completely essential. The belief that music is just something you should do for fun is something that we as professional musicians are fighting against all the time. There are so many misconceptions about this industry, and we've seen it recently in the newspaper articles that put art sector as the #1 non-essential job, which made my blood boil so hard. But let's not perpetrate that stereotype amongst ourselves. Being a musician takes serious hard graft and serious hard work. So if you're going to go into it and if you're going to take it seriously, you need to be taking it seriously. Obviously, having a plan B is often a very wise decision, but pursue what you want to do. Pursue this career, because you have got to put so much intentionality and commitment. Being a musician is often not very glamorous. It's a lot of hours by yourself practicing away, studying music, late night driving, eating McDonald's for the 10th time in a week because it's the only thing you can get your hands on. Music should be something that you are desperately passionate about. But if you don't convert that passion into planning, getting organized, practicing, and being intentional about all that tedious stuff that comes along with it, then it's probably not going to be successful for you. Some musicians don't take themselves seriously and don't take their work seriously, and some are on the complete other end of the spectrum. It can be so hard to set yourself boundaries and limits on how much you take on, and I am 100% talking from personal experience here. When you get offered work, it is so tempting to be like, oh my gosh, yes, and just grab it. Because it's exciting, it's fun to be asked to go and do what you love and have that validation in your skill and everything. But if you take on too much, you will burn out, and you will suffer, your relationships will suffer, and your work will suffer. And balancing all of this out doesn't just have to be about money as well. Make sure you're cultivating your non-musical relationships and friendships so that you have people who you can talk about other things with. Try as you might, you are not a machine, and you can't just keep going indefinitely, just talking about nothing else for the rest of your life, doing nothing else for the rest of your life. You need to have a little bit of variety in there. So make sure that you put time and energy into your friendships, into you having a hobby outside of playing. It's one of the reasons I started this channel. Yes, I'm still talking about music and all of these things, so maybe there's that. But I also really like running. I like being outdoors and active kind of in general, and I've been quite intentional about planning those things into my life, because otherwise I could just get completely consumed by this career, and I want to be doing this for a really, really long time. And so I've talked to a lot of people, I've talked to my teachers, I've talked to players that have been doing this for decades, and they all say the same thing, that you've just got to take care of yourself and make sure that you don't get that burnout. Because like I've said in videos before, it'll just steal the joy of what you do. And then it's really like, at that point, you're like, what is the point of doing this? And you'd be right. So really hold on to that and remember it in those moments where you go, I really, really, really need a holiday. Ooh, work's just come up. Take the holiday. You need the holiday. This career is awesome, but it can also be a tad bit of a minefield. So to summarize, just be reliable, be nice, and be good at your instrument, and you will be just fine. I know this video has been a little bit more like, don't do this, don't do that, than what I generally like to do, but these are serious things, and ultimately I want you to have the most successful career that you're capable of. I want you to love that career and enjoy yourself as you do it. Like, it's really fun, but we can't really appreciate how fun it is if we're burnt out talking behind everybody's backs because we're miserable and generally making a nuisance of ourselves. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Please do like this video, subscribe to my channel, come and follow me on all the social medias. I'm generally most active on Instagram, so come check that one out. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye guys. Hello everybody, and good start.